Hello, good to have you on the program, and of course not forgetting to say tender apologies for this late start at this time. We're ever glad to be on anyway, and one important thing above all else is that we want to make sure that the best comes to you most of the time on this program. I'm Okechukwu Onubogu. Good to know that you are there to be part of this program today. And I have a guest on the program. That guest is someone that is a multifaceted fellow because he is involved in a lot of things. Talking about someone that is an entrepreneur, someone that's refer to him as a farmer because he has farms, someone that is an in fact, so many things. He's also a spiritual father. All of it put together, he is here. He is one I refer to as human interest advocate. He's here with me this morning. I'm talking about Sam Praise Itomo. Sam, good to have you on the program.
Good morning, wonderful audience. Good morning, Okechukwu.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll go straight to get you what we have from the newsbeat. That is rather not newsbeat, rather from the business news. And then when we return, we'll talk about other things. But of course, the program still remains the economy today. All that has to do with the economy. Today we discuss flooding and its impact on the farming we do. Flooding in agrarian areas, so impact on the economy. We'll talk about all that, but let's take that news.
The U.S. government central purchase an arm has added ChatGPT, Google's Gemini and Anthropic's Claude to a list of approved artificial intelligence vendors to be used by government agencies. The move by the General Services Administration, GSA, allows the federal government advanced adoption of AI tools by making them available for government agencies through a platform with contract terms in place. According to GSA, the approved AI providers are committed to responsible use and compliance with federal standards.
The closed-door meeting between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and all the security agencies lasted for about 3 hours. Its major focus was on the general security issues affecting the Federal Capital Territory. The minister and the heads of the security agencies charted the way forward on how to address some of the key security challenges in the FCT. Some of the issues included the problem of beggars in FCT, illegal mining, the challenge of one chance, amongst others. Speaking at the end of the meeting, the Commissioner of Police, FCT, Ajao Adewale, gave assurance that the FCT administration is rolling out a total implementation that would address and curb the menaces.
It has been 3 hours of serious brainstorming with the Honorable Minister FCT regarding the general security situation within the FCT. What the minister and the service commander within the FCT component have been discussing borders on issue affecting general security in the FCT, vis-a-vis the gain and the pain of Operation Swing that FCT has embarked upon the past 1 month. To the glory of God, the exercise has been very successful. And from the gain we have recorded, we have seen the need to continue. Specifically, the issue of shanties springing up everywhere in the FCT has been of concern and of importance. The attention of the Honorable Minister. We should equally have the issue of these beggars destitute all over the city, which we are addressing, and he has tasked the service commander to continue addressing that situation. If you see that we read the whole of our FCT streets of all these miscreants that are constituting a kind of threat to the environment. Issue of illegal mining springing up around the city has equally been of concern. And you understand the security implication of this. He has given the directive that those illegal mining must be shut down. We've always seen that people taking undue advantage of certain situations, constituting themselves into illegal IDP camp. Such is not recognized within FCT. And the place has been identified where people need to be provided, and if you have reasons to be here, you'll be here. If you have no reason to be in the FCT, we'll relocate you to where you belong.
He called on all FCT residents to be security conscious. Ekaite Ibot.
The Nigerian All Share Index started the week on a positive note, closed on Monday with a 2,808.71 point gain to settle at 144,071.76. This marks a 1.99% increase from Friday's close of 141,263.05, despite a slight dip in market volume. Daily trading volume fell from 1.08 billion shares on Friday to 811 million shares on Monday, but that did not stop the market from pushing higher. The total market capitalization also edged up to 91.1 trillion naira compared to 89.37 trillion naira recorded in the previous session across 35,963 deals. The naira fell to its weakest level in more than a week on the parallel market on Tuesday, trading at 1,565 naira to a US dollar. This is according to data from currency traders obtained in Lagos. The latest rate marks a fresh slide from 1,550 naira to a US dollar recorded both on Monday and Friday, and 1,540 naira to a US dollar on Thursday last week. Recall that the naira had traded at 1,550 naira per dollar last Wednesday and 1,535 naira per US dollar on both Tuesday and Monday of the previous week. However, according to data by the Central Bank of Nigeria's website, the naira closed at 1,533 naira 0.85 kobo to a US dollar on Monday, marginally stronger than the 1,535.50 naira to a US dollar recorded on Friday.
And that's it. Taking that from the business news, I think what we will do right away is, since that one has come up, well, let's do a little discussion before we return to look at other aspects, because we have other segments talking about the stock exchange. A bit of it has been mentioned in the news, and we'll also have the oil price, then we have our news bits. But looking at what we have as our topic today, which I expect to be seeing at a time like this, the topic for today is flooding in agrarian zones, and of course this has an impact on the economy, Sam,
Sir,
how do you see it?
The effect of flooding in agrarian zones, specifically in Nigeria, like the alert I already saw, current affairs, that 19 states in Nigeria, some are already having the flooding, and some are expected from their Ministry of Environment predictions. So the negative effect precisely is what I call devastation of food shortages, subsequently on the fact that we are already having a very reduced agricultural program in Nigeria because of kidnappers and the effect of insecurity. And then this flooding of a thing is also having a toll already in Niger State, some places between Kontangora and Mina. All those places, farm areas, are already flooding. Some places, even in the North Plateau State, are already flooding. And the negative effect is that it will make farmers not to have access to their farms. While the farms are soaked in water for a week and more than that, it affects the crops, making them, just like if you carry cassava and butcher it and put inside water and soak it, what does it ferment? So you are causing decay on the farm. So the granules that are already doing well in the farms, cassava, yams, and what have you, are already getting soaked. So upon the fact that we are already having food shortages, we are still going to endure much of that for the rest of the year, and the spillover into next year, because whatever we are cultivating in this particular season is already what we expected to eat from the October's, September, October, November, December, and then the first quarter of 2026. So we are actually supposed to have, like Ministry of Environment, that is already giving us all these forecasts, supposed to have what we call preemptive measures in order to forestall the flooding effect. Because as far as I can remember, for many years now it has been flooding. The one of Kogi State, precisely in the Lokoja axis, it has been endured. Sometimes it cut off economic activities so that commercial life is down, fishery, those in the fishery industry is down, those farmlands in Kogi State is down, Benue State, all those waterlogged areas. But in my estimation, the meaning of government offices like Federal Ministry of Environment is to go into infrastructure to prevent areas of flooding. There are what we call road networks, the creation of gutter, sewage system, getting them to work. Just about, it's not 2 years ago, I was driving around that area, one roundabout, it was flood. Cars cannot pass. That is right in FCT. So what I'm afraid of, if we can permit flooding in FCT, not talk of the states and the agricultural areas, so it's not very wonderful, Okechukwu.
Yeah, well, you said that was 2 years ago. I don't know whether that flooding is still happening today here, because a lot has happened.
We will know by this week.
Yeah, okay. But then, it's a serious matter that in all these, and even today, it's in the news that
yes.
Is it NIMET now that warned that there will be flooding in
19 states.
Yes,
19 states.
You know, so these are the things that are the problem. And these 19 states, just as you've mentioned some of them,
yes.
are the states from where we get these agricultural
products.
So how do we handle it? Because if the flood comes, it washes away everything.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you want the farmer to do at a time like this when something happens? It's a question.
That's a big question.
Because there is need for serious planning. After all, it's been mentioned for so long that that this flood will happen in some certain areas.
Yes.
Like yesterday in the news, I heard that the emir of one of the states was pleading with his subjects to move upland because of the flood that will come to the place. Can you imagine that the emir is pleading that they should leave?
As if they are provided facilities for them.
So these are the things we need to find out. How you ask them to move, what for? Where would they be going when they leave that place? What would they be doing when they leave that place?
That's the meaning of it.
Yes, as IDPs, of course, as we're having these days.
Yes. Because what emir should do when he hear the alert is to appeal to the state governor, to begin to produce something like makeshift camps, toilet facilities, small places where people can ease themselves, and restaurants.
We're not talking about IDP camp. It's just the same thing. Go to the camp because they have become IDPs.
It is.
You are either displaced internally by insecurity thing, or by flood this time
because of lack of infrastructure.
They are still internally displaced people. Yes. It's not from outside that the displacement came, but it is flood that met them there. But the question we keep asking, why can't the government look at it and ensure that as it is happening, like it has happened now, you see, after these rains, nobody will talk about these things again until the rain of next year.
Yes.
Why can't the government look at the way it has happened this year and say, okay,
preventive measures.
Let's begin to put these measures in place so as to ensure that after this, when the rains come, that they will be free.
We'll just, be free to carry on our lives.
I don't understand. We are a blessed nation. We belong to a blessed country, rather. Because in this country, we have everything good for us, naturally. You see what happened in Indonesia, how everywhere was being washed away, and also Japan has had it, China has had it, all these developed countries, I must say, have had it.
Even in Texas, just last month.
America, yes.
That was even a tornado. The great flood in 20 minutes, 3-story buildings were covered.
Exactly.
That is what we call unpreventable ones.
Yes, that's when it comes to that. Yes. But even after that, when it happens, they still have
they go back to drawing blood.
Yes, to do something to make sure that it's not repeated.
Subsequently.
But here, We keep hearing it since I became an adult, since I started, not just an adult, since I started understanding things. You know, I've been hearing about this flood and this flood in these same areas all the time. Why can't there be something specific, something strong, something solid that the government can do to prevent it from continuing? It's affecting the economy. On a serious note, it's affecting the economy.
Everything about our nation, both commercial life, economic life, educational life, medical life, everything, because when facilities like hospitals that are supposed to produce palliative,
can you imagine what roads are like? And human beings are still struggling to see what they can do to go through this and look at the
the byproduct of it is something like cholera, diarrhea, all those waterborne diseases, the spread of plagues and what have you. So now the hospitals one supposed to go to is already under flood.
Yes.
So doctors cannot work, nurses cannot work. Hospital laboratory facilities are already destroyed. Hospital beds soaked and washed away. So whatever damages hospital system, medical system, then educational system is already affecting our livelihood. So this, as like you said, once we are seeing it this way, then the government, either state or federal, you go into your drawing board and come up with factors to prevent it subsequently. So but when we see it and we begin to advise to vacate the place, that's what the government do say.
Yes.
Tell the people in that place to vacate. To where? To where? And what are the factors on ground that you are putting? Last year, was it not announcement that Cameroon is going to open their dam? So all those from Benue down to Lokoja, down to River, whatever, in Nichasaba, all those places, they were giving them warning to vacate. Now, the issue is that Allah is supposed to come with instant development to prevent the maximum flood effect, number one, and the health care of the people affected in that area. But all we hear, like the Emir is saying, people should vacate that place and go to higher lands. Then, and that higher land, maybe you buy cutlass and go to the higher land, start clearing.
See how you build something, makeshift place for them to stay. And you look at the farm, like the last picture. You saw the farm behind the house, and you see that all that area is already filled with water. So what would you say about the plants,
the crops,
the ground, the thing they have?
Will the crop also growing and fly to higher land?
They can't. And all these things, afterwards we will say that we want agriculture to make more impact in the economy. How can the agriculture you're talking about make impact in the economy when you keep allowing floods to prevent that agriculture from making impact? We have always been depending on fuel, not just fuel, but oil and all that. That's why our economy has been like that. Economy has been on the basis of what you have from oil and then the things you import. That's why our economy cannot grow beyond the level it is, because we need to have these things put in order so that the things, the proceeds from the agriculture would also make its own impact in the Nigerian economy. We see it rise.
So that this so dependent on oil and oil factors will just die down naturally. So but the situation where the government is not even, part of, like I do say, when you have a government that feels the people, all these things we are saying will not, there wouldn't be need for even these kind of talks. But the situation where you have a government that, okay, like I do say, I combine everything. If they are not concerned about the people, even the healthcare, then even education, so like you say, they depend on everything foreign. So we are subjecting us to the same menace of colonialism, because
I would even want to differ for a while.
A little problem. The governments are flying abroad.
Yes, because when we talk about colonialism, in the days of colonial masters, we had all these things put in place and they were working.
Domicile here.
So, but now that we have had further development,
the colonial masters have gone. We are following them to go and spend our money with them. Yes.
Instead of getting to develop what we have.
Yes.
Well, we'll still talk more about this, but let's look at what we have and from the stock exchange and all that, then we'll return again. Of course, we still have our news bit, so when we get to have that, we'll talk. But let's look at the stock exchange and the money matters as a whole, as they are, including the oil business. And that's looking at the Nigeria Stock Exchange. The all share index is there for us to see. The percentage has been on, it's been on the increase. That is bullish, being bullish this time, 0.64%. And then we have 144,984.45. And then the value traded in Naira is 22.25 billion, while the volume has been 1.06 billion, and the market capital 91.73 trillion Naira, of course. And these are the things that are running the stock exchange. The stock exchange is really improving because there has been some intrusion. There are some inclusion, rather not intrusion, inclusion to the stock market by other companies that have also come to join and even to lift up what they have. Yes, and from there we have the major people who are there already, after which we also see the ones that are gaining and losing. Yes, let's look at them. There should be top gainers, and the stock top gainers, we have ICO with 10% gain, 0.24 points, and BODE Cement coming in, having 10% gain. M Benefit is at 10% as well, Nearmeth at 10% as well. And these are important points that we need to mention because they are all part of what is going on. And there are some others. Yes, let's look at them. Do we have our losers there? And yes, the decliners, the people that have gone down. Living Trust, up, UPD Credit, Academy, and Nicare. And looking at all that, you see that 9.20% decline for Nicare, Academy 9.60, Up Credit, you have 9.6, while at 9.05 or so, 85 happens to be for the Living Trust. So as they go down, some others are going up, and this makes all the difference. I just want to say the bullish nature that has been there has helped a lot this time, because if I were to read it, I would say that well, this loser's end, Living Trust Mortgage Bank recorded the highest decline, shedding 0.20 to close at 2.15% share. UPDC Real Estate Investment Trust followed with a loss of 0.35 to close at 3.15, while Academy Press dipped. And so these are the people you are looking at. And Academy Press dipped by 0.23 Naira to close at 2 Naira 10 Kobo. We also have orders that John Holt that fell, and Tantalize are dropping. These are more of them before we even talk about Mikhail that we mentioned. Well, that is it for now. Oh, but who are the main people who have been there? Do we have them? If not, we can continue. The biggest volumes, yes, we have ICO Insurance. Emerged as the most actively traded stock by volume, with 97.1 million shares exchanged, followed by GTCO with 76.2 million shares. Japan Gold traded 66.7 shares. Veritas Cap came on with Assurance, Capital Assurance had 53.4 shares, and UBA recorded 45.7 million shares. By value, GDCO topped the chart with 3.8 billion worth of shares traded, followed by BODE Cement, that is by value, at 2.7 billion, and UBA at 1.2 billion. While we have sectoral performances largely positive, with the NGX Insurance Index leading the pack. up to 7.5%, followed by the NGX Industrial Index, which rose by 3.35%. However, the NGX Pension Index closed in the red, and despite maintaining a year-to-date gain of 53.34%. But that's it. We still may have to still look at some others later as we go on the program. But we will check the oil price because we have it there, the oil market. The West Texas Intermediate has gone on with 65.51%, $65.51 rather, $65 at 0.86%, and 1.32, 0.86 rather marks, and 1.32%. Brent crude has gone up to $68 per barrel, and 1.32% increase. Melbourne crude 70.76, that is $70 per barrel, and it's 1.38%. While we have our own Bonnie Light at $78 per barrel. Of course, that's the way it is being. But Bonnie Light has behaved somehow for some time these days, but we are looking at it because we've seen 74, we've seen 75, now we're seeing 78 today. Let's see what comes out of it at the end of it all. Let's just go ahead and say there are also rates, market rates of price rates rather of petroleum products in Africa. Libya is 44, that is the price in naira, 44 naira per liter. In Angola is 503 naira per liter. Algeria is 556 naira per liter. In Egypt, it's 585.20 per liter. And in Sudan, it's 1,120 per liter. In Tunisia, 1,386 per liter. Ethiopia, 1,365 per liter. And in Liberia, 1,393 naira per liter. Of course, we know what we have in Nigeria. So I just left Nigeria because we know what it is already. And if there's any other thing to look at there, let's look at it. If not, we just move up straight to continue with our talk, discussion before we now go to news beats later. Back here, Sam, you see that this flood has become a terror to Nigeria. So when we talk about terrorists, I guess we should include flooding as one of the terrorists we have
organization. Terrorist organization.
But this terrorist that is flood has been allowed to excel in Nigeria because it's the government that should handle it.
Yes.
If you see people going to build in the area that they are not supposed to build, you stop them in the lowland areas that shouldn't be inhabited by human beings. You arrange for it. If it must be allowed, then dredge the river by the side so that the waters will flow within communities. Yes. But the fact is that we see this, nobody bothers, and at the end of the day, there is trouble. There's a lot of money that is paid, dedicated to this, so that they will now use it to make emergency arrangements for them. Why? Instead of giving that money to use it for that thing, use the money to work on the thing so that the things will get better. I don't know the way you see it, Sam.
Yeah, of course. When you have a whole 19 states, under out of 36 states, 19 states, under flood threat. So what do, like you keep mentioning, what do a government do in such situation? Because we cannot be blaming the community. Okay, if we are talking about most of the locals who are into agriculture, let's assume they are, let's say, half illiterate or something like that, on lack of exposure, so the government, either local government, state government, like you mentioned, dredging the waterways within communities where you have waterlogs, swampy areas, and what have you. So you cannot be blaming the community or the locals in that place, because you're already having what we call a threatening death toll, a rising threatening death toll in such communities. Should we keep celebrating the death of our citizens simply because we blame it on them, say why did they? They were not opportune like you that are permitted to lead them. So the meaning of governance is those who know their way coming up to guide the subjects. So why my friend Okechukwu is calling the government intervention, because the locals are not exposed and they don't have also the factors, the facilities to install infrastructure to prevent subsequent occurrences as that. There are places we call a state road and a federal road and things like that.
And even local roads.
Yes. You see, so the local roads, the local government takes care of that. State roads are taken care of by state government, while you have federal roads for the federal government to come in with what we call infrastructure, better road factors and systems, and then dredging of waterways surrounding particular communities. We have scientists, we have surveyors, we have engineers in government. So that's exactly what the government should do to go into especially agricultural areas that are flood prone and begin to bring forth preventive measures by dredging the waterways and putting some alert on the community leaders. Okay, you are emir or oba or chief in this area. This and this and this is what you should drum down to your community people and things like that. I mean, you know what we call flooding education. So like you said, a wise man said, a country does not prepare for war where they are already in battle. It is in the days of peace that countries, build up their military power to prevent subsequent, intruders. Also, it should be, assuming we finish this rainy season, throughout the 5-6 months of dry season, what are the government doing to prevent subsequent occurrences? That's what my friend Okechukwu is hammering upon.
Yes, it's important that we do it, because we want agriculture to make effective input into the economy. This is how to make it happen. If we keep allowing products to be wasted each year, every year,
where are you going to import?
By the rains and floods.
Exports. Yes.
We don't have
yam poundo blended can be
nobody's talking about all these things anymore.
Cassava flour can be exported.
Yes.
These are not just oil like you keep saying.
Yes, it can't just be only that.
Once the economic system is already detrimental to our whole system.
And some floods will carry the trees that are what are we doing? We're still talking about deforestation up north. So let's just do something. Let's do something. Okay. We'll return. Let's take a news bit. And one thing particular about the news bit is that one of the things is that the Minister for State for Petroleum Gas said something, and that that federal government is struggling to make sure that gas it becomes what is used in every home, and they have distributed free gas cylinders to all the zones of the country except the southeast. I wonder why you didn't distribute to the southeast. It still needs to be explained. Let's watch and see.
The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekwe said the federal government plans to move 5 million homes to clean cooking through its liquefied petroleum gas penetration initiative. The 35 million target would be achieved in the year 2030. Ekwe disclosed that free gas cylinders have been distributed across the country, except in the southeast. The gas minister stated this at the ongoing Nigeria Annual International Conference, an exhibition organized by the Society of Petroleum Engineers in Lagos. We have rolled out the LPG penetration program, distributing cylinders across the 6 geopolitical zones, except the southeast for now. We are empowering women and youth, promoting clean cooking with a renewed target of moving about 5 million homes to clean cooking by year 2030, he said. According to him, President Bola Tinubu placed gas at the heart of Nigeria's energy strategy, with an ambition to utilize the country's abundant natural gas resources to further industrialization, create jobs, and expand access to clean and affordable energy for all Nigerians. Over the past years, we have taken decisive steps in line with this vision. We have expanded gas supply for industrial use, prioritizing gas availability for manufacturing hubs, power generation, and industrial corridors. As of today, I have been reassured that every gas off-taker currently receives the gas they require for their industrial processes, he explained. The Nigerian Interbank Settlement System (NIBSS) data has shown that the number of Nigerian bank accounts owners linked to bank verification number BVN is 66.2 million at the end of July 2025. The current data showed significant surge from 64.8 million recorded in January 2025 and 63.5 million as of December 2024. The data showed that 2.7 million new BVN enrollments were recorded between December 2024 and July 2025. Further analysis of the NIBSS data showed that as of 2021, 51.9 million accounts were linked to BVN. It rose to 56 million in 2022 and 60.1 million in 2023. Further analysis of the NIBSS data showed that as of 2021, 51.9 million accounts were linked to BVN. It rose to 56 million in 2022 and 60.1 million in 2023 and closed 2024 at 63.5 million. According to NIBSS, the BVN gives bank account owners a unique identity that can be verified across the Nigerian banking industry, while it ensures that customers' bank accounts are protected from unauthorized access. The BVN project, which captures the uniqueness of every bank customer, is one of the most innovative projects introduced into the financial system in 2014. The BVN scheme, which gives each bank customer unique identification, is revolutionizing the banking and payment systems while ensuring safety of depositors' funds. The surge in BVN figures has also been attributed to the recent launch of Non-Resident Biometric Verification Number (NRBVN) in Abuja. Following the recent unveiling of NRBVN, the State Bank Board directed Nigerian banks to proactively develop and offer products specifically tailored to meet the unique needs and preferences of the diaspora community. The NRBVN launch is seen as a major step to keep remittances inflow to the country soaring and dollar liquidity strong. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso said that offering innovative and attractive financial solutions can greatly enhance diaspora participation, deepen financial inclusion, and significantly boost remittance inflows. Over the past year, our policy frameworks have undergone extensive refinements, informed by sustained dialogue with international money transfer operators. The introduction of the wheeling buyer wheeling seller regime, licenses of additional IMTOs, licensing of additional IMTOs, and market reforms that have facilitated currency convergence are notable examples. Consequently, remittance flows through official channels have risen markedly from $3.3 billion in 2023 to $4.73 billion last year, he said. He added, with the introduction of NRBVN and complementary policy measures, we are optimistic about achieving our ambitious target of $1 billion in monthly remittance flows, a goal we believe is entirely achievable given the growing trust and convenience in formal remittance channels. Cardoso explained that a fully connected system will ensure that every Nigerian in the diaspora can confidently contribute to national development through trusted and cost-effective channels. He emphasized that the launch was not the final destination, but the beginning of a broader journey. The NRBVN is a dynamic initiative, one that will continue to evolve in response to the needs of its users. It presents a unique opportunity to learn, to innovate, and to adapt. We encourage all stakeholders to engage actively, share insights, and help shape a system that serves millions of Nigerians across geographies and generations. The NRBVN is not just a tool, it is a bridge between Nigeria and its global citizens, he said. The CBN has earlier directed banks to freeze accounts without a BVN and National Identification Number (NIN) from April 2024.
Well, that's it. We've had that and seen all of it, so we will be rounding up at a time like this. I want to say special thanks to Sam Praise Itomo for being here. Sam, it's always a pleasure sharing the moments with you, of course.
The pleasure is mine.
Yes,
God bless you, wonderful audience.
And we will still continue. Even this topic, we've not dealt decisively with it. We'll still remember to look at it while taking others along with it as we go on. And as we go, we'll conclude with the fact that the distribution of the gas cylinders, yes, it should be made clear where they could be collected, so that
public announcement for it. Information. Yes. Where do we collect our own?
You know, it's important. Everybody needs it. Well, that's how we round up the program today. And I want to say thanks to you, dear viewer, for being part of it and following us to this very end. And to all the fellows that have worked with me, the names whom we will see here. This is Okechukwu Onubogu saying, of course, that as we live our lives and as we do the things we do, we want the very best to come our way. And that's why on a constant note I will say it, that I want the very best to come to us as we live. That's my prayer. Thank you for being there.